accidentally started recording while I was eating a cookie. Real nice, man. I don't like it.
I control the editing. I have the power.
I've never been more terrified of you.
Ready?
Hi!
Yeah. Hi there and hello. Happy Monday.
Welcome back to another episode of What the Fuck Did We Just Watch? That's Maine.
That's Bug.
What are we doing today? What are we doing today? I don't ever know what we're doing.
No, I don't know what I'm doing any given minute.
Nope.
So. But today, we're diving back into our cemetery. Are you seriously eating on camera?
Nope.
But we're going back to our cemetery roots.
Yay!
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, we both used to work in cemeteries. That is plural. We worked for an organization that oversaw 13 different cemeteries in the New Orleans area. So we're pretty familiar with... Mina wants that cookie so bad.
It's all gone. I ate it all. Boop.
But we know a lot about what goes into burials and making funereal arrangements and things like that. But today, something that we don't know anything about is what we're going to go into. And that is the history of hearses. Hearses that typically transport the dead body from the funeral home or the church to the cemetery for the burial site, etc., etc. I don't know anything about hearses. I don't know why
the history of them.
I don't know why they were introduced or what was so special about them or why a dead body
needs a special name,
a super fancy ride. I don't know. So we're going to learn a little bit about that.
Hi, Mimi.
That little face. That face. This is from Donut Media, which we're familiar with from watching James. Sorry, I can't do anything about this right now. Yeah, there we go. But we watched Donut Media's James react to the little trees. So this video is also brought to us by Donut Media, but by a gentleman named Nolan. So here we go. Hearses.
He just gets right to it.
I would love to have an old hearse.
I would too.
Oddly specific vehicles used for one purpose. Transporting the dead. Name another vehicle that's only for dead people. Why do they need them? Why don't we just use a fancy pickup truck?
Yeah.
Today we're going to look at the history.
Or even a not fancy pickup.
Hearsery. I've been messing with the volume. I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to turn it back up. Sorry.
We're going to take a look at the world's fastest hearse, how a JDM hearse differs from the U.S., and figure out what the heck that curved bar on the back is for.
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that, but they are on all of them.
They are.
Not all of them, but the majority.
Yeah. Okay.
Ever since dead people have been buried, there's been a need to transport their body to the burial site. For most of recorded history, the vehicle that transported the body was either a couple of strong boys or a primitive wagon or carriage. Like most things surrounding death, the transportation became a ritual and tradition. As a symbol of respect for the dead and the afterlife, the carriage started becoming more decorative, a tradition that can still be seen today. Objects like
a Maserati hearse? Okay, that's just ridiculous.
You've gone too far.
The catafalque, I know that.
Over the body,
Paul.
Part of the ritual.
Yeah.
Drapery, beautiful hardwood, and ornate glass started adorning the coach. The word hearse actually comes from the medieval Latin word hersio, which translates to large plow or rake for breaking up soil because of the iron shape. By the 1600s, anything that supported a coffin was being called a hearse. Ornamentality blossomed during the Victorian era as we started to see hearses with lanterns, carvings of things like doves, scrolls, and velvet curtains. The first motorized hearses were actually electric. In 1895,
Interesting.
Morgan gifted the city of New York with an electric hearse that doubled as an ambulance, which probably means that ambulances weren't that effective at the time, I guess. It wasn't until 1909 that the first hearse powered by an internal combustion engine showed up on the scene. An undertaker in Chicago by the name H. Durward Ludlow, let's just take a second to appreciate that name, H. Durward Ludlow.
That's a mouthful.
Oh, shit.
Durward Ludlow? That's hard.
That is hard.
Carriage and the chassis and front end of a bus. The first ever automobile funeral attracted a lot of attention, and soon people from all around the country started commissioning Ludlow's hearse for their loved ones' funerals. But the idea didn't catch on right away with other funeral directors. The cost of building a hearse in those early years was around
They're expensive
$6,000
still.
or $185,000 today.
Yeah, they're pretty
It was
expensive.
too
They're
expensive
really
for most
expensive
other
now.
funeral homes to commission a hearse of their own, considering they could have a traditional horse-drawn hearse built.
Which I still think is
The first
elegant.
to start commercially
Oh, yeah.
a horse-drawn
motorized
hearse.
hearses started up that same year, 1909. Crane and Breed Manufacturing in Cincinnati, Ohio, were like the Bugatti of hearses. They also made these creepy coffins.
No.
C&B took their already elaborate, detailed design from the horse-drawn hearses they were already making and applied them to these new vehicles dubbed auto hearses.
Okay.
They dropped in a 30 horsepower, 4-cylinder engine made with
30 whole HP. Ooh. Well, I mean, they don't have to go that
It
fast.
could go, quote, 15 miles per hour faster than any hearse should have to go. 15 miles per hour. It didn't take long before engine technology and production streamlining advanced and became less expensive. Eventually, funeral directors realized that with these new motorized hearses, they could host more than one funeral a day. And hearse building friggin' slapped in the 1920s.
Yeah, because everybody was dying in like 1919. Nina, what are you doing?
One holdover
She's a
from
menace.
days was the color black. Black traditionally signifies mourning,
Hello.
which explains why
That's
most hearses
her.
are
Yep.
black.
Okay.
Of course,
She's
there are
mad now
other
that she can't get
colors
out. I
of
just shook the whole
like
thing.
white, which signifies afterlife, or plum crazy, which signifies that you're ready to crack.
Okay, I really like that purple metallic flake.
Over there in heaven, and gold, you can see in Asian cultures. In the 1930s, the
Rich.
shape of the hearse transitioned from the tall carriage-derived greenhouse to the longer
I think that looks
landau limousine
lovely.
style shared with modern hearses. If you remember from our car-shaped wheelhouse we did a few months ago, the landau and the landaulet styles have retractable soft tops, which have a distinct S-shaped bar called the landau bar that supports the convertible
So they
Ah.
hinge,
don't
almost.
have a retractable
Yeah.
top, but that bar remains a stylistic relic of the past. Honestly,
Who
hearses
knew?
look kind of weird without
He knew.
them.
Yeah,
even though
Nolan
they
knew.
don't do anything. If you're like me and most of your friends are funeral directors, you probably won't catch them.
Okay, we do know a lot of funeral directors.
Really do.
The proper term nowadays is funeral coach. People in the death care industry, and yes, that's what they rebranded as, are trying to phase out the word hearse because of the grim implications. When I hear the word hearse, I think of like Rob Zombie.
I don't.
They put a positive spin on it by calling it
I think of this.
A funeral
kind of like a
coach.
bus that offers a one-way ticket to two very different locations. In the U.S. and Europe, luxury car brands supply most of the donor cars for modern funeral coaches. Lincoln,
Donor
Mercedes,
cars? That
Rolls
sounds
Royce, Jaguar, even Maserati.
strange.
One manufacturer
Stop with the Maserati.
Yeah.
dominated the funeral
Well,
coach
who needs a Jaguar hearse?
Cadillac.
Yeah, Cadillac is pretty
Picture
standard.
hearse. It's probably a Cadillac, right? Am I right or am I right?
You're right. Yeah, lots of Cadillacs. There's also, for a time in the 80s and 90s, Lincolns.
Buicks. I feel like I've
The
seen some
so-called
Buicks.
Japanese style of hearses are decorated to look like Buddhist temples.
That makes
There are
sense.
actually a few
Yeah.
different types. The Nagoya style has both the top and bottom decorated. The Tokyo style has just the top decorated in ornate gold accents. And then there's the Kansai style, which is undecorated.
I feel like plopping it on that modern looking like front
Looks very
looks
strange.
a little
Incongruous.
garish.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty, but like, yeah, that just.
Yes.
Funeral coaches don't come pre-built from major manufacturers.
Oh.
They're built by companies that specialize in custom fabrication.
That makes
These
sense.
companies most always build limousines as well,
Yep.
because it's a very similar process. These donor cars are chopped in the middle of the chassis and split apart. Steel extenders are then welded in to lengthen the frame. Extra doors and panels are fabricated to cover the new extended section.
Wow.
That makes sense.
Glass shell is attached to the back. Things like the wiring harness and gas line also have to be lengthened.
Yeah.
Wood paneling is added to the bed in the back, and rollers are put in to make loading and unloading the coffin
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
When a
'Cause
coffin
that
is
shit's heavy.
inside a funeral coach, devices called beer pin plates keep it secure so it doesn't shift around when the car's in motion.
Familiar with beer
Beer
pins.
doesn't mean brewski. It comes from a device that was kind of the precursor versus a precursor. A beer was a wooden platform that was used to transport a body and had wheels or even just planks that slid over the ground. They're so old, they were mentioned in the Bible.
She's so sleepy.
Nowadays,
She just wants to
near
stand here and
Luzon.
get scritches.
Yeah.
This bespoke Jaguar hearse is built using a bunch of custom-made parts that are hand-molded by technicians. The amount of work that goes into each vehicle is...
Look, I don't want to be
crazy.
insensitive, but the dead person doesn't care what kind of car they're transported in.
No.
This is only done for the people that are mourning them.
Power, but it only adds about 800
Right, Nina?
And that is
That sounds like a lot. These luxury
okay.
cars have already
That's
It
okay.
is okay. Like if
Yeah,
that's what
we're-
if
I'm
that's
not-
what if that's what helps you grieve, like that's totally fine.
There's
Just-
no wrong way to grieve.
just don't. You just understand that it is about you and it is not about that person,
deceased
anymore. Yeah.
6-liter LS-powered Chevy Caprice.
And of course, that is just our
Functional
opinion.
hearse with AC
Yeah.
and roller
All
seats.
opinions are our own and do not reflect
Iron
the...
Maiden themed with an airbrush seam on the
Whatever.
hood and red leather
Just
interior.
because of the opinions of the production company, that's also us.
Mile time of 9.4 seconds at 146 miles per. That's fast. This is a
That's
9-second car and it's a hearse.
That's
My
crazy.
favorite hearse, I would drive this one. I mean, I already got my second hearse, so this is my second hearse. We always say hearses. You gotta have your daily, you gotta have your fun hearse, and then the weekend hearse.
Sure.
For going to Home Depot, getting some Deadbolts.
God, I love puns.
There are actually hearse car
Jeez.
communities around the world.
That makes
like
sense,
other
actually,
Oh,
because they're such
yeah.
specialty cars.
hearse
Yeah.
trips, like the Michigan-based, just hearsing around, cruise slowly in their trip.
That's
hearses and
freaking
Oh
adorable.
my god.
I love that. Just hearsing around.
That's fucking wonderful.
Hell,
Hell, Michigan. There you go. Good
Of
place
course,
for it.
yeah.
hell. Let me know how it is in the comments. Anyway,
It's exactly like you'd expect.
I mean, it's in Michigan.
That's needed to lengthen these vehicles
Enough said.
makes an already expensive car and makes it more expensive. A typical funeral coach nowadays costs
Oh my God.
$110,000. For a funeral home that's just starting out, that's a huge investment.
But it's,
Necessary.
But it's really not.
After all,
I mean, it
It
will
is.
pay off. However, that's not as expensive as I would have thought.
Yeah.
Remember before when I mentioned the death care industry?
That's us.
Well, I know this is
Was
That
us.
was us.
but I thought this was too interesting not to talk about. The industries surrounding death, like funeral homes, casket manufacturing, hearse fabrication, etc., are very lucrative.
People
You know
can't
they
stop
say,
dying.
There's nothing certain but death and taxes.
Caskets are very expensive.
Yeah.
That means lots of potential
That's why I want a coffin.
being taken.
And I'll explain the difference at
All
the end.
those extra things like the hearse, flower van, and police escort come at a premium. It's easy to upsell people when they're vulnerable, and people are extremely emotional when they're grieving. It's not their fault, but it gets taken advantage of.
And it's a
Hearses have
shame.
come a long way from
Plan that
the
shit
military.
in advance.
The luxurious ride, the ornamentality, the ritual of it all. It's a way to honor our deceased and give everyone that person.
Somebody's grumpy.
Just
I think hearses
She
are
just
weird and cool. And I
grumbled
don't
at
like
us.
Yeah.
Like,
any expense at my funeral. Hopefully, I'll have my escort team hearse ready by then. Just waiting on a few parts. Thank you for watching this episode. I know it's kind of a morbid topic, but also pretty interesting.
So pretty.
that was amazing and so interesting.
I did like that. I would have
that
liked
sounded
a,
really sarcastic when I read that. That really was.
I would have
It's
liked
good.
a little more detail as far as the history of it. Because hearses are typically, like historically,
Historically.
are for, in small communities when someone would die, usually the entire community knew that person.
Yeah.
So it was for them to take the coffin or the casket, typically a coffin, and I'll explain the difference, through the town so that everyone could come out in the streets
yeah,
and
say their goodbyes.
say
Yeah.
their goodbyes and show their respect for their
It was
family.
part of sending them off to
Right.
the next part.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be.
Now, the difference between coffins and caskets.
Yes.
Coffins are those typical kind of like, you see them in Hot Topic. You've got a fucking shelf that looks like a coffin. That's
And
typically
my
the
makeup,
shape, that
my makeup
angular,
brush holder.
yeah, that angular kind of tapered look. That's a coffin typically,
Yeah.
and coffins have removable lids.
Yes.
The lids
It's not
are
hinged.
yeah, they're
It is
frequently nailed
separate.
down once the corpse has been placed. It's a corpse is a terrible word, body.
Uh,
Once the body of your loved one has been placed in
Person?
the coffin, yes, then the coffin lid is placed on and typically nailed shut or sealed shut nowadays.
Yeah.
Because of damp and rot and things like that. You try and keep it out. I'm not sure why, but they get sealed now.
Well,
Caskets.
it's less about that and more about the like groundwater issues,
Yeah.
like letting that
Because nowadays cemeteries are
seep
so prevalent
into-
in city limits. So caskets sealed shut, or coffins sealed shut with a lid. Caskets are hinged. Those
Yes.
are the ones that are plush and ornately designed and usually have like satin lining, and they have a hinged lid,
and that
which
is
can be split in half so that you have just the top half for the viewing and things like that.
yeah, that's more for the display.
Yeah,
at
that's
visitation.
Visitation kind of thing. Yeah, which has become more and more about aesthetic than it used to be. I think. I mean, we're of Irish descent mainly, and in Irish wakes, the body's kind of just laid out on a table
On
or
a
a
table,
plank,
yeah.
and people come in and they say their goodbyes, and it's not unusual to see a dead body in your house, like if your Grammy dies or things like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not something to be scared of. It's not. I mean, death isn't something to be scared of. A lot of people do fear it. I feared dying just because I don't want to die painfully. I don't want it to be long and drawn out like a disease, which saying it probably means that's what's going to happen. But I would like it to be sudden and peaceful, and I don't have to worry about it. What happens after that is none of my business till I get there.
Yeah.
So I think that was really interesting.
I
like
really liked that.
learning
That's
about all aspects of things, like different cultures
Yeah.
and
The history,
different traditions and things like that. I love that. I love that. So if you like that and you want to see more of that, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Until then, we're out of here and we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Like, subscribe, click the bell. Bye-bye.